and welcome to another episode of Breaking Through in Cybersecurity Marketing. I'm one of your hosts, Gianna Whitford, here with my very Texas-looking, desert-attired. You're jumping right in.
Maria Velasquez. It's my dress down t-shirt on Friday.
Yeah, nice. It's Casual Friday here at the Cybersecurity Marketing Society. And we have an amazing guest. We have Varun Kohli. He is CMO, Chief Marketing Officer of Cequence Security. Thank you for being on today, Varun.
Always a pleasure chatting with you, Jana. Thank you for having me.
Yay. We are so excited to dig into today's topic, which is storytelling. So let's start off with something a little bit about you, though. You have a very interesting factoid, which we're going to put in the title of this episode. You have had 9 exits, and it was 8 when we did our scoping call. And since then, it's been 9. Tell us, how can you still be alive? That sounds like a lot of pressure to me, honestly.
I think if you pick well, the whole startup game is a pressure. So we are betting against the odds. There's no certainty to it. But if you pick well, you know what you're doing it with the right people, you're backed by the right people, and like what I like calling, if you're owning, let's say, 40% of a watermelon as compared to 80% of a grape, till the time you have check on all of them, it's a lot of fun. And this is what I enjoy doing. While you're enjoying having fun, these things are byproducts, I would call it.
Any secrets or tips you can give to Maria and myself so that the next time, or the audience, the next time they're making a decision to jump into a startup, that they choose well?
I think some things that help that I look at is, one thing, if I try to give you 4 letters, first thing I look at is I, which is the investors. It is tier 1 investors who have invested in this. These are hard dollars. Yes, we are betting our careers and time on it. They have put in the real money. The next thing I look at is M for market size. Owning 80% of a grape is not as good as owning 40% of a watermelon. So go for the watermelon, huge market size. Mm-hmm. Third, what I look at is people. Who is it that is at the company? What have they done before? Is it their first time gig? Is it their second time gig? How known are they? Because if they are known, marketeer's job become automatically easy. Oh, this is a 3-time founder. It makes it easier for me to sell them, right? That's the third thing. The people, you'll be spending more time with them as compared to your kids. I do have a 9.5-year-old and a 3-year-old, and I do spend more time at work than I spend with kids because they're at school. We get to spend 2 hours with them, but 8 hours with the work colleagues. So have fun with them. Number 4 that I look at is product. If you have a strong product, that actually makes the life of a marketeer easier. So I probably would like calling it with 2 fingers, if you may. This is where you're starting. If you have the right product, you can actually go further. And it makes it easier to go further as compared to doing it for a harder product, not in the right wave, not in the right magic quadrant. It just makes the job harder. It's a chicken and egg problem, right? How would you show up in the wave? How would you be in the magic quadrant? That's, again, marketer's job. But if you pick well, strong product, differentiated product, people are saying good things about it, you will be a winner. So I hope that helps. Just to reiterate, we talked about investors, market size, people, and product. Those are the 4 things I look at.
IMPS is what is the acronym.
That's the new acronym.
Yeah, I love it. And Varun, here's one that we didn't prep for. In terms of what you're seeing on the horizon now, what sort of cybersecurity category might fit that market, that sort of high growth landscape that might be a good move for someone who's looking to make a move?
I think AI era is here to stay. We have gone past all numbers, all sort of numbers, first to 100 million in. It used to be years, then it used to be months, then it used to be weeks. Now it's days to 100 million users. So AI era is here to stay. And like with everything else, you have mobile devices come in and mobile security becomes a thing. Cloud comes in and cloud security becomes a thing.
Yep.
Fortunately for us in cybersecurity marketing world, it's like insurance. We were there 100 years ago and we will be there 100 years from now. I can tell you that. And the waves will keep on coming and going. And right now that wave is AI. So all about AI security, all about knowing what AI is in use. How are you breaking? I think yesterday there was California talking about AI security compliance. Just yesterday it came out. Europe has had it for a few months now. So I think AI security and then protection. when you're talking about AI, it's not just protecting your large language models and large action models, it is also protecting against them. So protect from AI is also a thing as protect AI. So I think protect for AI and protect from AI, because these things can get very, very interesting. If I'm writing a malware and I'm asking ChatGPT to just change few bytes and make it a new malware, how do you defend against that? So this is what my recommendation would be. If you have anywhere intersection of AI and security, that's a place to be for the next 5 to 10 years.
Absolutely. And you heard it here first, listeners. Quit your job and join a cybersecurity company that defends against AI or helps with AI. So
Wait, let's add a legal disclaimer after that statement.
this
Please
is
do not take financial advice from this podcast or medical advice. Only take marketing advice sometimes.
Your mileage may vary. Also, no legal advice. All right, Varun, you've been very successful. 9 exits is a lot of exits, like we were saying, and you plan intensely with that IMP sort of acronym that you were talking about earlier. But another thing that you're very excellent at is storytelling. And I think that's a thread that you've woven through your previous companies and something that we were talking about on the prep call. So tell me, what's your philosophy? And to back up a little bit, I mean, all of us here and everyone listening knows that storytelling in cybersecurity is something that cybersecurity enables because it's bad guys versus good guys. It is cool, innovation, techie things. It is, wow, interesting new stuff that's happening all the time. So there's constant like stories being created. But at the same time, we're in this industry where a lot of things sound very similar. And a lot of us say the same thing. And to stand out, you really have to have some sort of bold message or really hit at a pain point or have a great story. So Varun, tell us, what is your philosophy on storytelling and how you weave it into what you do as a CMO?
I fully agree. If you're thinking from a customer point of view, you and I both were at Black Hat. Go walk the floor. Everything sounds so similar. It gives me nausea, to be very frank. When I walk the floor, everything is so similar. So how do you differentiate yourself? The things or the tactics or strategies that I use, number one, I've said it before as well, is do not have data without a story and do not have a story without data.
Okay.
They are intertwined. You have to have data in order to tell a good story, number one. The other strategy that I use, and I think we'll talk about it more later as well, how do you make it relevant to the 8 billion people on the planet? Even if your TAM is 20 companies, 200 companies, 2,000 companies, if you're trying to tell a story that is just relevant to those 2,000 folks or 2,000 companies, you will not get too far. We are recording this right now, podcast. In the other room, my head of threat research is recording with ABC Tampa. And we are an API security company. Why would ABC have us on their show? Similarly, I was fortunate enough to be on the Today Show a few years ago. And that was boring enterprise mobile security.
Yeah.
What does it have to do with Today's Show, which is number 2 watched news program in the United States? So how do you make it happen? Make it relevant to the 8 billion people. And 2 suggestions that I have. Number 1 is do not have story without data. Similarly, do not have data without a story. And number 2 suggestion, make it relevant to the 8 billion people. Think about it. Why does it matter a person walking down the street, even if your TAM is a small cybersecurity market?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It emphasizes the importance of human to human marketing, if you will, or selling, because sure, yes, we might be B2B and we might sell to enterprise, but the people that are behind those desks, those computers, those checks that are going to pay are human, and they're part of a community, and they have family, and they have grandparents they need to also give advice to on security and how to protect themselves and their data. So you're right. We should kind of just disseminate all of that into as human as possible. And I think that also helps with storytelling, because now you feel like you're talking to a human, not a corporation. And the language becomes a little more simple, less stuffy, less marketing buzzwords, less corporate buzzwords, and it gets directly to that human we're trying to convince, playing on the emotions and all of that.
100% agree. I think, and in our industry, unfortunately, we have too many acronyms. It makes it, we just assume the whole world knows what we mean by all those acronyms. They don't. Make it simple to understand. Once you make it simple to understand, it is also simple to remember. And like you said, Maria, it's not about why would I go to a show or a news that does not have my buyers watching? Why would that make sense? Number one, your buyers might be watching who are in the market today. Your buyers might be watching who might be in the market tomorrow. People might be watching who know people who work somewhere who might be looking for a solution. All you need to do in that segment is make sure they resonate. If you're looking for API security or bot management, Sequence is the solution. If you are looking to secure mobile devices, SkyCure is a solution. If you have just that thing covered, you have done your job. So do not make it overcomplicated. It is not. It is fairly simple.
That's so true.
Can you tell us a little more about the company that was on ABC was SkyCure? Can you tell us a little bit more about how you got onto ABC? Like, what was the story you were telling to enable such a broadcast media organization to want to talk about SkyCure?
I think ABC is what's happening next door. This was Sequence. The one that we were on with SkyCure was Today's Show.
Oh,
So
my bad.
NBC's
Today's Show. That's even bigger.
Today's Show. Yeah, this is watched by 5 million people in the United States. So how we made it happen? I'll give you an example or the story of how we made it happen. This was a mobile security solution. We used to sell to enterprises. If you are downloading apps, if they're not safe, we'll tell you about it. If operating system has any vulnerabilities, we'll tell you about it. If you're joining Wi-Fi networks that are malicious or suspicious, we'll tell you about it. So as a part of this last one, we actually had a public app. If you're traveling and connecting to Wi-Fi networks, and if they're doing something fishy, sometimes Southwest Wi-Fi might appear on top of a mall. There is no Southwest plane sitting on top of a mall. So these things used to happen, and users would just look. What is the first thing we do? We land into a foreign country or a foreign state. We look for first free Wi-Fi that is available. 90% of the free Wi-Fi we found were malicious. So this is the data that we had. How do I make it relevant to the larger audience? We looked at Travel and Leisure magazine top tourist destinations. And then we stack ranked those tourist destinations by their maliciousness.
Wow.
How likely are you to get attacked or join a bad Wi-Fi network when you land in Disney Paris versus Times Square versus San Francisco Golden Gate? And that was something we launched it and we believed it to be, oh, wow, what an idea, what an angle. We will be all over the place. And we pressed go live button on the Business Wire. Nothing happened. Crickets. And I was like, I thought this is a great angle. Why am I not getting coverage? Fast forward a couple of days, I'm super depressed in my office, didn't save.
You need a trip to Disney Paris.
I probably did. And then I got a call from Cronford, San Francisco. Hey, we saw your news that you have published about maliciousness of tourist destinations. Where is your office? I said, Palo Alto. We'll be there in 30 minutes to record this. I was like, what? 30 minutes? I ran to the gas station, bought a razor to shave, got into the marketing closet to get into the marketing shirt. And then we went live on Cron4, and that was the start of it. Then there was travel podcast, and there was Today's Show. Interestingly enough, I asked my CEO, and he's still late. If he's listening to this, he'll agree to this. He's still late. Sorry about it. I asked him, hey, Adi, do you want to be on this? This is Today's Show, the Today's Show. He's like, no, Varun, I'm not sure. You worked on it. You know the details. It's okay. You go. And he was beating himself up after he saw the segment that he should have gone. So till date, he tells me, my friend, dear friend Adi tells me, next time you did Today's Show, if it is Good Morning America, I am going. I don't work with him anymore. But that was the story. So that's how we did it. We came up with an angle that was relevant. And that there was no stopping after that. We were on 250 plus TV channels. Number of radio shows that just raised the bar for the company. Every time my salesperson used to show up at a company, you would ask, right, why would I do a Today Show? And now the receptionist looks at the card. Oh, SkyCure, I saw you on TV. I'll get my boss.
Exactly.
So that's how it helped us. And the only time I got a call in my 4+ years with SkyCure and Symantec from the engineering department was that day. I got a call, I believe, at around 8 a.m. No, it wasn't 8 a.m. It was 5 a.m. And they said, what did you guys do? We cannot keep up. There are more number of downloads than we can handle. And
Whoa.
that is how I knew that the Today Show segment went live because they pre-recorded it. I flew to LA. My ticket was $200. That's all we spent on this campaign to get to 250 plus TV channels. The whole segment was supposed to be 30 seconds. It actually became a 4-minute segment. And you can see if you bought that 4-minute segment on Today's Show, it's going to cost you a few tens of millions of
It's a
dollars.
lot
We
of money.
spent $200 on it. It's a lot
Yeah.
of money. So that's when they called and said, we can't keep up because everyone is downloading the app from the App Store. This is when Tom Costello, who covers travel for Today's Show, I think till date he does it. He said, so Varun, if I want to keep my kids safe, what do I type? Sky Cure? That's all he said. And that was it. I told my team in Israel, as soon as this segment is over, take the servers down, but 3 hours from now, put back the servers. And then 2 hours after, put back the servers. We were kind of doing human load balancing. It was expensive to have that many servers. We were a small startup, but we got more downloads in 4 hours, probably 10 times more than the whole year before. So that is how we used the story, used the angle, used the data, and made it to Today's Show. Hope that helps.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if anything, it should help people within the leadership team, CMOs that don't truly believe or understand the power of brand when it comes to actually impacting pipeline. Sometimes we seem to think in a one funnel or one tunnel vision. When it comes to that funnel, right? A lot of times it's like, well, what is this going to get me? Is there direct attribution to pipeline? Is it going to get me demo requests versus seeing the big picture and understanding the potential impact short term and long term, right? I think you probably have seen the impact of this even 6-9 months down the road beyond just the first few days after the PR and the show aired, right?
Correct. Absolutely. I think within the short span after airing, we had 100 plus opportunities from it, 16 or 19 customers that came from it. So we had the numbers.
Wow.
There we go.
And you can spin your head month over month trying to figure out LinkedIn ads, Google ads, content syndication, webinars. Meanwhile, with the right story and the right data, you can fast pace your pipeline and just, surf your way to Q4 in a happy place.
That's right, everybody. Our legal advice is that everybody should buy a spot on the Today Show now. Today, call them. It's so interesting because it's a similar story, right? When you see CrowdStrike doing an ad in on the Super Bowl, right? And people say things like, "Oh, what a waste of money! You could do so much without it." I mean, it's a different level of eyeballs on you doing these things that have such a national, widespread viewership that touches everybody. It's not we're buying a webinar on X security focused trade rag platform, right? It's the whole world is going to see this and they're going to think about the brand. And it's just an interesting, it's really good to hear that, you had that data for the story, and then the data on the flip side was all those opportunities and pipeline that you were able to trace back.
Correct. And there is time, place, money for the stage of the company that you are.
Yeah,
that's true.
Super Bowl ad. And the other thing that's very important is the expectations that you have from an ad in Super Bowl or anything like this needs to be crystal clear.
Yeah.
So if you don't have the expectations set, people expect, especially from marketing, people expect magic. There is no magic. It's very logical. This is you put in, this is what comes out. This is what is expected. We experiment, we measure. If it came out, great. If not, go do the next experiment. It's very scientific. At least my approach to marketing is very scientific.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Obviously, the creative part of it is where the art comes in. But you're right. It is very scientific in making those decisions of investments in the different channels. And I think there's a lot to be said about us on the B2B side and enterprise side to learn from the consumer side, because those things do work. The billboards do work. If you have the right media mix, eventually you will create that brand affinity you're looking for. You will be top of mind for people when they're thinking, I need a mobile security solution. Oh, well, I saw the billboard, and then in the metro station, there were signs, and then I heard a radio ad on NPR about them. That continues to build up in everyone's head as brand affinity at the end of the day.
It's air coverage, right? It's air coverage for your sales team too. Like, I've heard of this. So when they do a reach out, it's like, okay, I know who this is, right? Whatever, the host of the Today Show mentioned it, or it's on a billboard near my office. I guess I will take a call.
Yeah.
And I've seen the ads and the webinars and everything. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think you're absolutely right. Even billboards, they have a purpose till the time. And I agree with you, Maria. You said the approach is scientific, but the art is also part of it, which is why I love what I do, because it's a perfect combination of art and science. I'm a trained engineer, and my wife makes fun of that I learned how to write code for 6 years, wrote it for 1 year, and switched to marketing. Listeners, if you are listening, this is an advice, and I will stand behind it as well. No disclaimers. There are many battles you can try to win. Do not try to win a battle against your wife. Even when you win, you will lose. So that's what I would say. Billboard thing that you said, right? Sometimes people forget. And I'll give you an example. I was driving on 101 and I saw the billboard that said 10 times faster than Snowflake. Do you think I remember the name of the company that put the money spent the money to put that ad up there? I don't. Depends. What I remember is Snowflake. You spent money in marketing your competitor. Your logo and font was this small, 10 times faster than Snowflake. I have no idea what that company was. They were targeting Snowflake customers. They ended up marketing for Snowflake. Oh. So another advice I would have
that's the art part, right? That's the creative and the art. That's where they went wrong.
Creative and art. That's the art part. They went wrong. And sometimes companies just go a bit too far on the competitive front. And I like to focus on my customers. I do not want to spend $1 or 1 minute of my time on competitors.
Wow.
I'm hired by my brand to do marketing, not hired by a competitor to do their marketing. So that is what I do. There is, again, time and place when you would want to do that. And when you do it with all intelligence. Do not just try to grab attention and then you lose the whole purpose of it, right? I don't know what that brand was. Hope that helps.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. A couple of days ago, I was in New York City headed to the US Open, the tennis tournament that's going on this week. And one of the subways was wrapped all in orange. HubSpot had bought one of the subway cars that's taking people from Grand Central to Flushing, all in orange. And HubSpot is a B2B sales and marketing solution. Maybe the average person just going for one tennis game might not know what HubSpot is. But I bet you there's a lot of executives, a lot of CMOs, a lot of CROs that were also going to US Open that rode that same train. I think the creative could have been a little bit better. They had one really cool message that talked about this quarter could be your best quarter yet from a sales perspective. And I thought that was pretty witty. But yeah, that stuff works. And there are a lot of courageous B2B tech or, enterprise brands in the B2B space that would do stuff like that, like the consumer world does. I would be curious to follow that journey in that campaign and see if they would discuss what came out of that. But I thought it was really cool to see.
I love that. And we're going to drop it in the show notes. It has me thinking, we had Pam Cobb from Akamai on this show a little while back. We'll link to her episode in the show notes where she talked about the impact of a billboard near the Akamai headquarters, although it didn't have the intended results. So we'll make sure to link to that in the show notes.
Yeah, I remember that story.
That's a good one, folks. Make sure you listen. And now it's time for an ad break. Speaking of data and marketing and creative and billboards, maybe we should buy a billboard for Cyber Marketing Con. Listeners, come on down to Cyber Marketing Con. It is December 8th through 11th in Philadelphia. We are congregating 400 to 500 cybersecurity marketers together over the course of 3.5 days for amazing networking, absolutely the best conversations about marketing in the industry, and of course, lots of fun. Make sure to come down. Ticket prices go up October 1st.
And Varun, you're invited, obviously, you and your team. Hopefully you'll be able to join us.
Yeah, I'll try my best.
Yeah, everyone loves when I do an ad break in the middle of a conversation. All right. So, Varun, I think it is time for our game. You
All
guys
right.
ready?
Wow.
Are you ready?
Very. I
Okay.
think I'm ready. I have no idea what's coming.
Okay.
All right, that's great. So we're gonna have you juggle. No, I'm just kidding. So Varun, for our guests on the show, Gianna and I, we guess what you would currently be doing if you weren't working in cybersecurity marketing. If you had a career aspiration that you never reached and you would rather be doing that today, we would try to guess what that is, and then you let us know if we came super close and creepy or if we're so far off that it's terrible.
Interesting.
And then by the way, you do have to tell us who's the winner, and then we
Yeah.
do the tally at the end of the year, and then shame each other for whoever loses.
Yeah. Yeah, there's supposed to be a prize. I don't think we've given a prize yet, but we will this year.
Yeah.
Note it, everyone. Write it down. On this date, on this Wednesday in time, we are going to actually give a prize. And then
I like mezcal, just in case.
All
That's
right.
Fine.
I'll get the mezcal. I know you're going to win. So, Varun, the other thing is we cannot guess what you've previously done. So we cannot say engineer.
Engineering, yeah.
Despite how much your wife would like that. So we cannot say engineering. Is there any other secret career that you've had that we should knock off that list?
Secret career that you
Secret career.
You're okay not being secret no longer after
No, engineering is one that we should knock off, but I'm very, very curious to hear what you think.
Okay.
And I can probably tell you already, I'm not sure either of you will get it right. I'm not sure. Let's see.
Oh, okay. All right.
Just to make it out.
All right, you go, Gianna.
Oh, you're going to give me the hard. I get to go first on the hard ones.
Yeah,
okay.
You have the wild guesses.
Yeah, I do wild guesses. Occasionally they're like straight on in like a weird, scary way. Okay. Yeah. But, you know, a lot of times they're absolutely wrong. Okay. So Varun, it can't be something obvious is what the big hint you just gave us. So I can't say like, oh, you'd be a venture capitalist or you'd own a business. Like that's kind of like very similar to what we're doing here. It's not cybersecurity. It's not. So I'm going to go totally. And I do know that you got an Airstream to go to a beautiful national park this Labor Day. So, what would you be doing? I think you would own Kohli's tour company. So business ownership, but in a completely different world where you are bringing people on curated tour. Oh my God, thumbs up. I got a thumbs up. Oh my God. You're bringing people on. Up? Yeah, maybe. I think I saw one. You were bringing people on curated, like boutique, like amazing, like deep tours into the most beautiful places in the US and around the world in an extremely interesting accommodation or travel style. Like it's super luxe, super boutique, super unique. And people will come on Kohli tours to have an unforgettable experience in an unforgettable place with an unforgettable team. Look, I wrote your tagline and I mispronounced all of it. That is my guess. Okay.
Beautiful. I would not tell you it right or wrong, but beautiful. I love the marketing that you have done on it already.
I have the colors. I got the palette. Thank you.
You're hired.
All right.
Okay, my turn.
Yeah.
So Varun, you give me foodie vibes. I feel like you would be a restaurateur or somewhere in the food business. I feel like you know a thing or two about a fine palate. And so I could see you running a pretty cool, I don't know what type of cuisine. It might be a fusion. It might be a specific region in the world, but I think I see you there.
Maria is literally always trying to find restaurant partners for her future restaurant.
I know. And if you are interested, meet me in 10 years.
She's literally every guest. It's like, you'd be a restaurateur, right? You'd be a restaurateur, right? Like, you're going to help me. You're going to join my restaurant, right?
I'm amazed by how close I think you both came. I am a foodie, so there's nothing wrong with that answer, I would say. And I love to travel. I'm more of a glamping person than a camping person. So you did cover that part in your answer as well, Gianna. But like I had said, I'm not sure either of you will get it right. If I was not doing this, I would be doing something with the kids part. I love spending time with kids. I have two of my own. I have a niece and a nephew as well. So I would be doing something that is with young kids, maybe a school teacher, completely off the grid, teaching them about storytelling, teaching them about technology, teaching them about AI. And trying to work at a grassroots level, if you may, and trying to build up a next generation that is more considerate, that makes a dent in this universe, and make this a better place to live in.
Love
That's
that.
amazing.
That is amazing. Could you let me know when that happens so I can enroll my kids?
Like Gianna said, maybe a couple more exits and then I'm on that side.
Yeah.
Love
If
that.
15
Love
to
that.
20 is like maybe the number, right?
Yeah. By the way, there is something that exists already in cybersecurity. I think a couple of women started this. It's called Teach Kids Tech. If you've heard of it, if you haven't, look them up on LinkedIn. Really, really cool program. I think started by one woman, and then a couple of women joined her after that. So, yeah,
Love it. Love it. I think Palo Alto did something for one summer, teach cybersecurity to kids, and they were shipping some kits to kids as well. So this was during COVID, right in the middle of it. This was 2020, if I'm not wrong, and that was very smart of them.
amazing,
Ooh,
amazing.
very smart.
Well, we both lost Gianna today.
Yeah.
Although,
Sorry.
yeah,
That's
I
okay.
lost my potential restaurant partner or investor. That's okay. But we had a lot of fun having you on the show today, Varun. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your crazy CMO calendar to be with us today.
Absolutely. This was a complete stress buster for me. Hard week. Startups are not easy for listeners, but things like this, people like Gianna, Maria, make it easier and fun. So I really enjoyed this conversation. Thank you both.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay. Gianna, any other announcements before we close off?
Come on down to Cyber Marketing Con and also give us a 5, 6, 7-star review on this podcast. The reviews and the star ratings really help us. So that would be appreciated. Thank you, listener.
Yeah, show us some support, some love. And remember, there's a new episode that drops every Wednesday. So make sure you hit subscribe so you can get the alert. And thanks for listening today. See you next week.
See ya.